offense you've had with your offense. Is it one of those where you have a 5th inning like that where you're like, all right, as you're sitting there as a coach is going, all right, let's put a couple of good ABs together and then let's get them on, and then you hit them with the big shot with the 3 run and the 2 runs. That kind of, you're just waiting for that inning to kind of break through?
Yeah, definitely not waiting, trying to help them, get there as early as you can. I think the homers were great. It was an awesome swing by Danny, an awesome swing by Steven. The story of the inning, though, I think, is Josh Pearson, left on left, that single right there. We left him in for that AB for a real specific reason, and he executed it well. And then Jake Brown, took three really good at-bats tonight, and set the table there again. And so there was a lot of that game within the game that was pretty good, but that's who they are. It's free bases and extra base hits and 3 quality at-bats in a row, and it's a good team, man. We're playing a good team, and sometimes it takes a little longer to get to that when you're in league. But 27 outs is a lot to get against our team because of the quality of bats that they take.
How big was it for Zack to come in those final 4 and just kind of stop the bleeding there?
Yeah, well, it wasn't that. Well, we were ahead at that point, it was
right.
put the momentum in the game in our dugout is the thought every time I bring him in the game. And again, he's awesome. I've been trying to tell everybody that for a while, that's who they should be talking about, and just keep throwing zeros.
Before him, Connor Bench came in. He may not get to the finish line unless Bench gets through.
Yeah, no doubt. I was proud of Connor. Got a couple outs there, kind of unlucky on it was a good job with 2 strikes. Nolan Stevens rolled the ball down the left field line. He's a good hitter too. Other than that, I thought he was good and competed hard, and we kept him under the pitch count we wanted to be able to utilize him again. So he's a quiet, important part of this pitching staff.
With Kade, was it just a case of going up against a great lineup?
Well, the guy's been the best pitcher in the country for a month and a half. I don't know what anybody else's lines are, so but I don't want anybody else pitching the first game of a series for LSU other than Kade Anderson, this year. And so it's going to happen. I think Paul's maybe the only guy that it didn't happen to that I've ever seen in my entire life. It's opening day today, right? So I have a lot of guys that have pitched for me in the major leagues that had a lot tougher nights than he had tonight. And even getting the 1 out as striking out Ace Reese in the 5th inning, was a big deal. And that's Kade. The guy will do whatever we ask him to do. If we would have just let him keep going, he would have kept going. One asked where his pitch count was. That's my job, to do that. I thought he gave us everything he had. I was contemplating maybe letting him go through Hines, which probably would have saved us a run and taken away a little bit of the drama. But it's a marathon, not a sprint. I'm happy he gets back on 7 days rest again this week, or before he pitches next Thursday, against another one of the best pitchers in the country when we go up there. So, but he did his job tonight.
He hasn't had a lot of issues this season, obviously, but the home runs have been a bit of a bugaboo for him. I guess, how do you sort of try to work through that or work around that?
Yeah, it's different playing in the SEC with the physical nature of Ace Reese, Hunter Hines. The catcher got one. That was good. A great swing by him. I don't know. If you ask, honestly, I would like to make all our ballparks out here a lot bigger. That would be the best way I could say that. But sometimes that pays dividends in Hoover and in Omaha, and I've seen that before. But he'll tell you pitch execution, and I thought he had a lot on the fastball tonight. There were some 3s and 4s that were crisp coming out of his hand. I thought the slider was sharp. Maybe he left it up and over the plate a little bit. Maybe a little fatigue, but he would never make that excuse. So I'd have to look at it a little closer. But again, he gave us a chance to win, and in my opinion, that's always the pitching staff's job, especially with an offensive team like we have. Just keep us close so we can get to those quality ABs and win the ball game.
Danny's talked about the work he's done to try to catch up to those high velocity fastballs, right? And then he turns a 96 mile per hour fastball. That's maybe the biggest hit of the game. So
yeah.
Just I guess, is it cool to see that?
Oh, so cool. Yeah. It was cool to see how happy he was. Obviously, he hit a 3-run homer. He's happy. You know what I mean? But he knew he executed what he needed to get to that swing. And, that's the dork coach in me that likes those kinds of things, I mean, like, that's as excited as I've ever seen him coming in. He executed what he needed to do in that at-bat to get to that result, which was really cool. And he'll do it forever, you know what I mean? Like, he's got a lot of baseball in front of him. And, there's not many guys in the country that could do that, and he's well thought of for a reason.
What has he done to sort of, I guess, improve to the point where he can do that?
He's a good athlete. He's got plenty of bat speed. Sometimes it's just, setting your approach correctly, setting your eyes correctly, setting your intent correctly. And we have a lot of that on our team, but he's such a baseball guy that, I mean, it's the perfect fit. And, he has that quality. I've talked about this before with like Tommy White, Dylan, obviously. Derrick Curiel has this different style of players than all those guys, but hey, this is what you need to do now, and they can do it. And tonight was a really good example of that.
You talked about those quality at-bats. Someone that I've kind of noticed had those. Tanner Reeves has been
Stud.
doing that consistently.
Yep.
Just talk about how big that is, not only for the entire lineup, but especially at that bottom of the lineup where
Yeah.
those guys to.
I mean, it's one of the reasons I really love this team offensively is like, I mean, how many teams have Tanner Reeves and Chris Stanfield in the 8 and 9 hole that can present all kinds of pressure that deep into the order and then turn it over for Derrick and Jared and Danny? I love seeing him come up there. And, he played good tonight. I mean, it wasn't just, a nice base hit, but he executed a hit and run early in the game. He battled and walked in the first inning, which, it may seem insignificant, but it did push the pitch count. It's another pressure. They were only going CRE, 3 innings. So it allows you to roll the game over. And, it's like at Texas last week against Jared Spencer. Like, we didn't get to him till the 4th, but, we got to him in the 4th because of the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd inning. So it was like another example that he just provides. He's got such baseball aptitude. Like, we have so many guys that fit this. And it's just like, whether we're the best team or not, I love coaching them because you can go to a Danny and say, this is what you need to do, Tanner. This is what I need out of you, Chris Stanfield. This is what I need out of you. And they're going to give you everything they have. And he's doing that. So thanks for bringing him up.
How's Luis doing?
I think he's good. Like, we had the tempo, all of that. I mean, that was a coach moment of like, hey, do we need to amputate? And he said no. And it's like, well, get up and let's catch strike 3 right here. I'll go check on him as soon as we're done.
You talked about Derrick, and just maybe the one thing he needed to work on getting here was just physically.
Yeah.
That's that home run. Is that just an example
Special.
once again of just
Special, man. Like, he's like all these same things, just talking about him and talking about Danny. Like, they're all baseball all the time. And the self-awareness piece for a freshman is usually one of the hardest things to get them dialed in, what they think they need to do or be to be what they want to be versus what reality is that they need to do. Like, sometimes there's a gap that we have to kind of chip away at. It's not like that. It's literally like a text message every single night about baseball. Hey, what do you think of this? This is what I'm going to do. And it's usually like, right on, man. Like, let's go. He'd be an excellent hitting coach, honestly, if he needed to be. But it's same type of thing where you need to get started earlier, get the ball up, stay shorter, stay within yourself. Get some type of visual adjustment with a drill we're doing in BP, and it's like, boom, it's there. It's really remarkable, like what he's doing, and that was another example of that.
Seems like Derrick texts you a lot about hitting, especially.
Mm-hmm.
Is that normal for a guy to just be that?
And I would, I connect with all the players, but this is like a 5-year relationship. This is long before LSU was a thought in my brain. Like, his 7th grade during COVID, and you're trying to find something to do at 3 in the afternoon when the whole world's locked up, and it's like I just literally saw the swing. Andy Zavorik, his travel coach, is a friend of mine, and I was like, hey man, like. And he's like, well, I got 4 of them. And I was like, well, let's do a Zoom call and talk about Arizona, And so we did and started building a relationship. And left-handed hitting, highly skilled players, like that's our wheelhouse. Stephen Milam, same thing, 7th grade, Sandlot travel team in Phoenix, Arizona. Like, those two are just like what you want. Tanner's what you want. Danny's what you want. They all have the ability to hit the ball over the fence like they did, So all three of them did tonight, but they're not selling out to do that. So they walk, they hit doubles, they move the ball with runners in scoring position. You know, Derrick will text me tonight about the strikeout in the 8th inning and go like, I got to move the ball there. I won't be timid. I'll make sure I do it next time. Like literally, that's coming at like probably like 1 a.m. So.
I know this is probably not happening everywhere, but you mentioned all these guys. They just love playing baseball.
Yeah.
Every time we talk to them, I mean, how much fun does that make your job?
Oh, it's a blast. I mean, it's a blast, and the high level of conversation to get the player to improve and then go execute in a high level SEC game is really awesome. Like it's almost like when we don't finish one off like last Saturday, it's almost like a surprise in the best way possible, and not a surprise in the sense we know what the competition is that we have to play, and it's not stopping anytime soon. Like it's PicoCon tomorrow. You know, Ligon is pitching on Saturday, then it's one of the Witherspoons, and then it's another big lefty, and Oklahoma's, you know, got a great closer, and then, you know, on and on and on. So like I said, not all the games this game and this weekend. But when you have guys that have the aptitude, the attitude, the care level, the intelligence, like you can chip away at it. And we're not going to be perfect, but we're always going to give ourselves a chance.
Is that why you feel like you're so, I don't want to say more focused, but really kind of hard on this team because you feel like they have that ability?
You know, I don't know that it, I mean, hard on them, like this is my entire life, you know, so like it's not like I'm any different. I just think we have guys that fit this. And I mean, hey, like 43 wins, regional final, a check swing, and one more out away from hosting a super, like, man, that makes everybody happy. Like, but, you know, I'm into like, how do we get there? You know, how do we get there, and how do we make this as good as we can so those guys can come here and go off and, you know, be supported by their teammates and get to have all these cool experiences here, and then be super ready when they go to pro ball, and then they get their major league opening day. And that was kind of one of the speeches today. It's like, that's today. And I'm looking at all the guys from Arizona, the few from Nevada, the couple guys here going like, hey man, like stand in this huddle, like you're them, maybe with a little bit more ability. And so here's the separator, and here's how those separators can help us like tonight. And then on top of that, you got all these guys that really want to see you do well. You know, to see Stephen Milam get pumped up when Danny hits a home run or vice versa, like that's awesome, because that's not what pro baseball is. Like the shortstop and the second base in Durham, North Carolina are competing to get the 25th spot on the Tampa Bay Rays. It's just different, you know. So it's cool. How did Paul do today? Did he win?
No,
They lost, but it wasn't because of him.
it wasn't because of him.
Okay,
They pushed
cool.
it extra.
Dylan?
Might have got a hit.
They lost in extras.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of extra losses.
Wow. Baseball.
Was there even a second where you thought about taking out Zack in this game?
No, not. I will say that just watching closely in the 8th inning and just knowing we were going to flip around to their better hitters, you know, for a second time, but it was barely, because he went, you know, through everybody, and we went punch out, one pitch away from an immaculate inning in the 8th inning. Then it was like, no, back out there.
So a couple more. Aside from Benj pitching today, it's kind of the same situation going into Saturday as last week, pitching-wise, in terms of who you have left. Do you approach it any differently tomorrow with Anthony in the bullpen?
It depends on the game. Different team. Left-handed, right? More left-handed lineup presence here. You know, obviously they had Bellew last weekend, who's a great player. But I like where we're at. I think Monday, you know, I sat down with Nate and Jamie and talked through some things that will help. And we don't need them to, like, we want to be better than that, obviously, but it's not like this. We need some massive transformation. We need every guy to be a little bit better. If two guys were a little bit better in that game on Saturday, we win. We don't win Sunday. They beat us, you know, 6-2 in an SEC game on, you know, top 5 team on the road. Like, that happened. I mean, that's gonna happen. I hate it. We'll never accept it, you know, or even though you can kind of understand it sometimes, but. Yeah, it's just last week was a couple guys just getting a little bit better, and we feel like we targeted a few things, and including with Anthony, and I'm excited to see him execute it.
And with Callan, you know, he's a guy you've talked about. You didn't look at the analytics. You didn't really care. You just got his phone number and called him. So when he's doing things like he did tonight and last week, you know, is it kind of reassuring for you? It's like,
oh no, yeah, like I mean that, like Yeah, it was. Hey, Zack Cowan from Wofford, he's coming on a visit tomorrow, so let's get everything like super airtight because if we mess this up, you're all fired. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Just like those position players we're talking about. Like he's a pitching version of that, and sets a great example. You know what I mean? Like we don't need everybody to be exactly like him, but like a young pitcher like William Schmidt, who's going to be one of the best pitchers ever here, can take a look at Zack Cowan and really take some things from him, or Kason Evans, who's going to be one of the best pitchers ever here, who's already really good, can take a look at Zack Cowan and really pull some things from him. Cooper Williams, who's probably coming in the game tonight before we scored, 5 runs, like that's awesome to be able to have that. A guy like Anthony can watch the game tonight and maybe expose some things, or Chase Shores can watch the game tonight and expose some things because that guy just executes and he's got toughness, and as you can tell, he's a good team guy. I mean, I just heard a little bit. He's praising the pitch calling. He's praising his defense behind him. It's like, it's Hall of Fame.
What do you think? What would you want your guys to take away from Zack then?
I think, he's literally the best relief pitcher in college baseball right now. And I would say his humility would be the first thing, like in this kind of setting. And then just the confidence, the mound presence, the tempo, and then obviously just ability to throw strikes with multiple pitches, and then just how he goes about his business. And there's a lot that guys could take away from that.
And could he pitch again? Could he pitch in not tomorrow, almost certainly, but like the next game 3? Could he?
We'll see where we're at tomorrow and Saturday. I wish we got to change that rule with the SEC. I know we got some weather coming. Of like if we don't have 2 games in by Saturday, like that we could use Sunday, we got to get that changed. It's great for TV and all that, but like let's get all the games played. So nobody told me how much it rained here when I came here from Tucson.
Now you know.
Now I know.
Has the game been changed at all?
Not to my knowledge. I have not looked at if the weather changed. As of right now, we're on for 6:30. I don't anticipate moving up probably. We're not going to move for if it's a 30% chance of rain at one time and it's a 35% chance at game time, we're not going to move it up. And we were seeing a lot of that early today, but I don't know. I haven't looked. My gut would be probably keep it the same. And I'm not the decision maker on this totally, but keep it the same with the potential of sliding back a little bit. Like we want to play the game tomorrow night. Like just to be really clear, like we want to get the game in tomorrow night. So it's Friday night, right? Yeah. So we're baseball school. So 9:30, first pitch if we need to. Let's go.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Jay, appreciate it.
Thanks, Kevin.